Cool. Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Um, okay. So I'm Jennifer from the Ripon Bookstore, and I'm here today with Carly Robbins, who is a voice actor and audiobook narrator. Um, Really cool story. So we met at the Lori Gilmore Daisy Chain Flower Shop debut event in New York. And I am an avid listener of audiobooks, and I had never even thought that I might meet a narrator. The actual person behind the narration of these popular audiobooks. Um, so Carly has narrated some very well-known books that we'll talk about, including The Daisy Chain Flower Shop. So Carly, thank you for being here with me today.
My absolute pleasure. I think the event that we went to was an inaugural HarperCollins 360 event. So we were like in on the ground floor. It was the launch in their offices, which I had never been to because they don't really record there, or at least I've never recorded there. Um, and it was all the business people, not even like any of the producers that I work with. So it was like, Lori Gilmore, Lori's agent, like all the people that work at 360. So it was like fascinating for me because that's a part of the business that I am never privy to. It's like corporate publishing America, right? um, and then to meet you, and so many other influencers and people who have, support this community in so many different ways, have bookstores, which we talked about. It's just thrilling for me. So it was an absolutely delightful event. And I'm so excited. We were just like this, chit, chat, 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 chat. We had so many things to talk about. And so I'm so excited to have this time to talk with you now about
Yeah,
books and
yeah,
audiobooks.
about
Yeah.
books. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so cool going to that event. I think we might have been the only bookstore that was there, so
I think
I was
so. Well,
curious
at least
there was,
not that anybody had said.
that we
So,
met. Yeah, so it was a bunch of influencers, and then the bookstore. So, okay, so we were standing in the lobby and we were just chatting, and we were realizing that you were the narrator, and it got me thinking, like, okay, she's narrated
yeah.
these, big name books. Have you ever been recognized in public? Like, oh my God, that's Carly Robbins.
Oh my God, I wish. My ego would like soar if that happened. If somebody was like, my God, it's you. No, has never happened. I mean, at like a book event where we're in the hotel, people who I think are just randoms, like I'm not sitting at a table waiting to sign or something like that. Like people notice me then. That has happened. But we're all there for the same reason. So like they're only coming because they're
They're in
paying
the
money to
biz.
come to a book event. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
they're they're fans. They're not um but I will say that when people find out what I do, they go, "Oh, you sound familiar." And I have a hysterical story. So I live in Brooklyn and I live in an apartment building and we have 24/7 doormen. And our daytime staff is a woman. And I think we started talking about something. I don't remember. Maybe I had just come back from a book event or something. She was like, "You're looking really nice." Because normally I'm wearing like, you know, clothes that don't make any noise. I wear the same outfit every single day so that I don't have to think about how my clothes are going to make noise while I'm recording. And I'm very low key and I'm lucky if like I look presentable. And so I think I had like makeup on and I look like you know, like a normal person out in the
Like a
world,
human.
a human. And she was like, "Oh my God, you look amazing." And I was like, "Oh, I was at a work event." And I was like, "Oh my God, we've never talked about this. Do you even know what I do for a living?" And she was like, "No, she's been at my building for years, years. We've never talked." Um, and I told her what I did, and she was like, "Oh my God." She was like, "Are you watching Heated Rivalry? Are you watching Off Campus?" And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "I've narrated for Elle Kennedy before, who's the author of the Off Campus series." And she was like, "No, you haven't." And I was like, "Yes, I." She was like, I've listened to all her books." Then she went through T.L. Swan, which is another author that I've narrated for. She was like, "The Miles High series is one of my favorite series. I listen to it all the time." She had no idea that I was the narrator for all of these
Wow.
books for years. She talks to me every day. So I think if we were to like armchair this, the what you hear in real life isn't what you hear on the microphone. And so while my voice now she's like, oh my God, now, yes, now I can hear
Then
it. But
she
I think
notices.
in like out of context or like she's obviously not paying attention to the name of the narrator, which is problem number one in my industry where people are like, I listen all the time. What have you done? And you're like, and then you list and they're like, I've listened to that. I didn't know that was you because they're just not paying attention, which is totally forgivable, but also know your narrators. So this is a perfect story of like what my career has been. Somebody that you've known for years has absolutely zero idea what you do for a living and has not only listened, but like is a fan of your work.
Yeah.
So that encapsulates everything that you
Ah,
just asked me.
that that is honestly like that's so cool. It's like kismet, right? That she's just like standing there in front of you, realizing that you're the narrator of her favorite books.
Yes,
Did
I
you get
know.
into
It's
it because
crazy.
you liked reading or because you liked acting or both?
Um, I wanted to move to New York to be a stage actress. That was my goal. So the written word for, stage and the written word is like the marriage. Like the written word is the thing. People create plays that they struggle over for like years and they workshop it and they just to make sure that every line is there for a reason. So written word for sure. And then as I'm trying to cobble together a career and realizing, there's just no money in theater and also not a lot of sustainability because sometimes it's very hard with the companies that come together to like get consistent work or to sort of build a career on. And then as an actor you're looking for anything to help with that. So people do commercials, they do voiceover. Um, they do soap operas when those existed. Those don't really exist anymore. Those were all things that I did. And slowly voiceover work is something that was paying my bills. Um, and when I found audiobooks, it sort of came at this like really important time in my career where I was getting very fatigued by the grind of the auditioning and sort of feeling like things would sort of happen and then I would kind of fall apart and I would feel like I'm not building anything. It felt like I wasn't creating a career. I was just going from like job to job. Um, and I was questioning whether or not that was going to ever be fulfilling. And if I was really only going to do my best acting in a classroom,
Yeah.
because you have to keep up your acting skills on the off chance that you're going to get cast in something. Um, and audiobooks came to me at that point, and it was like the perfect marriage of sort of the full performance of what stage allows, along with the written word, um, and to get paid. So it was union work. And I could do it literally almost anywhere because you can make a home studio. There were
Yeah.
studios, and that's kind of how I started was going in studio, which I miss those days so much because you would say hi to your producer or fellow actors who are also recording at the same time, or your engineer. You wouldn't be running your own session. Sometimes you'd, just see friends kind of thing. That was nice.
Yeah.
But obviously, being able to work from home is ridiculously convenient. So I do occasionally go in, but most of the time, now it's more stressful because now I'm like, well, how long is it going to take me on the train? Like, um,
Yeah.
which is surprising to worry about your commute. But yeah, so it was like a perfect marriage. And then all of a sudden I felt like, oh, I'm a performer again. And I'm getting hired over and over again. So I kind of just leaned into where the work was coming.
That's really cool. So, I guess on kind of leading in from that, I've been pretty avidly listening to audiobooks for about 15 years.
Mm.
And they used to be just so just plain, like somebody read you the
Mm-hmm.
book, right?
Totally.
Now in 2026, it's a complete production.
I know.
Sometimes there's one person doing multiple characters, sometimes it's dual, but sometimes it's a whole ensemble. And okay, let's talk about the correspondent for a second. There was, I don't know how many, a dozen or so
Yeah.
performers of different characters, do you guys feed off of each other or you're in your own studios recording your parts?
Great question. So I'm going to take it back just a little bit. So when I started narrating, which was back in about 2014, there was a style of narration that was more what they called in voiceover terms like voice of God. So
Hmm.
it's just sort of this like overarching affected voice. So it was almost like there was an accent without really an accent. It was just sort of like performative. And they ended the line with like an emphasis. So you would know. And it had this kind of like affectation to it. Um, I I know what that was because that was sort of how like I started, but it never really felt authentic to me. And I think one of the drawbacks of letting actors sort of like self-direct is then you're going to get the actor's perspective on what that is. And I think romance was in a genre that I was getting cast in a lot, and I think that those books are very high stakes, right? They're you some of the most important moments in people's lives as they find love and get their happily ever after, and so they really lend themselves to very dramatic storylines, and that genre as it's taken off really lends itself to a more performative nature. And I think as I progressed in my narration style with that, the genre also started to go. And then I think it just kind of has bled into all the other genres. Although I know that for a lot of, I would say, like fiction, like straight fiction, that kind of very emotive, performative style isn't really there. And because
Yeah.
most of those listeners are older, they find things too dramatic. They don't like breaths. I hear these kinds of feedback, but I do think that overall, audiobooks are moving in the general direction of sort of like a full performance experience. So voices, and then we're going to get into the different styles. So some books are solo narration, where it's just one narrator doing all the voices from beginning to end. I love those kinds of books. I love being in control of the full narrative. Sometimes those books are told in first person, or sometimes they're told in third person. And so it really just kind of depends on how the narrative voice is going to come out, knowing those two different perspectives. Then there is something called duet performance. And that is where this happens mostly in, I would say, in romance, because the authors are writing knowing now that a lot of people
Yeah.
are going to be listening in audio. And so they want
Hmm.
to make not only the book and the performance sort of like the seamless kind of conversation. And so they write knowing that. And that means in a duet that the female narrator is going to voice all of the female characters, even if it's not in the female point of view chapters. So they often alternate male point of view, female point of view chapters. So, and then that goes for the male as well. So the male, the MMC is going to voice all of the male characters, even if it's a female point of view chapter. And then there is what's called dual, where they're just going to alternate. This is also very common in romance. Male point of view chapter, female point of view chapter, but in the female POV chapter, I'm going to narrate all the voices. So I'm still going to
Yeah.
have my male voice. You had mentioned The Correspondent. So this was a fiction title. This was a debut author. Nobody had any expectation that this book was going to sort of sweep the year
Yeah.
in awards, in like the most talked about book. I know when I got cast and I read the book, even though my part um, was like the third largest, but the book itself isn't even that long. But the
Yeah.
main narrative voice is Maggie Megreed, who is a phenomenal actor and voice actor. Um, but I just I was like, oh, what is this? Because it's epistolary. So I was like, how's that going to work? Like, is that going to be irritating? Like, who wants to read letters? And I had actually done, sorry, I'm jumping around, but I had done a Meg Cabot book that was done all through emails back and forth.
Oh.
And it was so charming, and I loved it so much. And I really hope Meg Cabot is a phenomenal writer. So I had really hoped that this book wasn't going to let me down. And I did not put it down. From reading the very first page, I finished it in one reading. Like I just could not
Yeah.
stop. It was that good. And so that book was called, the style of narration was a multicast. So, and it was a little different because it was done in letters. So each character would have their own letters. So it was kind of sectioned differently. But multicasts can sometimes be either every character is just voicing their own character's voice, regardless of who's narrating the chapter, or they're just like narrating chapters in that character's voice. So it depends if it's first person or third person. So those are called multicast when it's like multiple performers doing it. And I think they all can lend to a different listening experience. What's challenging is that back in the old days, we all used to be in studio together. And so we would all be in the same place, performing off of one another, being in the same room. And that does not happen anymore for many reasons. One, people live all over the world. Schedules are always bonkers. And you've had now to develop a new skill set as a narrator of being able to do these performances wild. That's the voiceover term,
Yeah.
which means nobody else around you except your own voice, just sort of jumping in. We did have a director. She was also the producer of the project. She felt so strongly that she had such a vision for how she wanted it to go. She's extremely talented. Kelly Gilday, responsible for some of the most well-loved audiobooks out there. And so I think in her hands, I just had to like show up. It was very, very, very little work on my part. So that's just a project that I was unbelievably delighted to be a part of and to experience, sort of how it lasted. It was wonderful.
I love the story of that book, The Correspondent, how you said there wasn't really a lot of expectations, and then it just took the literary universe by storm, both in print
Completely.
and
I know. I know.
but
It really did.
so as a bookstore owner, of course, I love
Yeah.
books, physical
Yeah.
books, because that's what we specialize in. But we do also sell audiobooks. So we partner with Libro.fm, and they support independent bookstores. And so we're also very excited about audiobooks. And I think that audiobooks just provide a level of accessibility for
Mm,
everybody because
mm.
there's different things that you're into, and sometimes you can't sit down and read, but you can throw on some headphones or listen while you're commuting. So, what is, in your opinion, what's your recommendation for like a book that you would specifically recommend on audio?
Oh my. Well, if you have not listened to The Correspondent, we did talk about that. I cannot recommend it enough
Yeah.
simply because of the performances. But I have a handful of books that I've been thinking about because I do get asked this question frequently, like, oh, what should I listen to? And it's always very challenging because everybody has a different genre that they love or a performance style, something like that. Um, I think, first of all, if you are into romance, there is no reason why you shouldn't pick up some of the heavyweights in that genre, like a Rebecca Yarros. Although she is very big in romantasy as well with her Fourth Wing series, she is
Hmm.
an author that I have narrated for about 13 times, 12, 13 times for her contemporary romance. I started with her very first book that she ever wrote. Up into Variations last year, which was also something I cannot recommend enough. But she writes beautifully. They will always make you cry. And she has a unique perspective because she comes from a lifetime of service in the military or armed forces, and talks a lot about sort of the sacrifice that people make to themselves, to their families, and the burden and challenge that can present when you want to fall in love with someone, when that's their life calling. So they're very family drama oriented. really complicated familial relationships, and then, of course, really complicated, um, love stories. So I cannot recommend any of those enough. One I did for her, The Things We Leave Unfinished, is one of the most unique books that I've ever narrated because it has dual story lines in dual time, one in World War II and one in present day. And some of the books that I love to narrate the most are sort of like second chance women who are really at a crossroads in their life. They're recovering from usually a bad relationship or career issues or something they're just sort of like at this place where like they've got to do something different because things are not working out the way they want. And so
Yeah.
I love those kinds of stories. So those are a couple that I cannot recommend enough. I also, if you want some family, there's a lot of road trips during the summer.
Yeah.
I was really fortunate to be a part of an Audible Studios production of Little Women, and I got
Oh,
to play
yeah.
Amy March. Yeah, and it came out at the time that Greta Gerwig was directing her version of Little Women, and so they were able to get Laura Dern to be the narrative voice. We didn't work with her, but sadly, Laura. I mean, what are you going to do? But
That's tough. Yeah.
it's so tough. But in New York, it was like 2 weeks in studio with all of us together in like a really big, beautiful sound room, sound studio, and it was like every day, all different kinds of journeyman New York actors coming through to do their day on set, so to speak, and it was absolutely glorious. And I think the production is just really special. So I can't recommend that enough. Um, and then I know that there's like a lot of popularity. So like Heated Rivalry, check it
Oh,
out.
yeah.
Um, Particularly for, women, they seem to really like the romance. A friend of mine, Tor Tom, narrated those books a long time ago. So he's, been able to sort of ride the wave of their resurgence. Elle Kennedy, she's somebody that I've also
Hmm.
narrated a lot for with her Off Campus series. I mentioned T.L. Swan. I know the Miles High books are getting their own series. Like it's a time right now for romance. And then I think there are some books that, you sort of have the opportunity to get that more immersive experience, like the Correspondent, where it's a multicast. I know that Graphic Audio does a lot of sound effects, and they do like abridged versions, so it's not. I don't work with them, but I know that a lot of people really love those kind of high performance sound effects. It's more of like a screenplay the way that it's written, so there's not
Yeah.
really a lot of narrative voice. It's a lot of dialogue and characters playing off of each other. So I know that that's something that's become very popular. Um, yeah, I mean, I could
Cool.
talk books all day, but that
Yeah.
I
Oh,
felt
I
like I
know.
gave you a lot
Same.
right there. Yeah,
Same. Well, thank you. I want to thank you for spending time chit-chatting, following up after our event in New York. I'm back in California now, but I hope to see you at other events in the future
me
and
too.
that we kind of run in the same circles in the literary world. You mentioned something at the very beginning. You said, know your narrators.
Yes.
So where can people find you?
Oh, I would say like the main social media that I'm on is Instagram, but my handle is the same across all of them. Carly Robbins narrator. I also narrate as CJ Bloom, but that's just like a hashtag and that's in my profile ID. It was too hard for me to try and keep up multiple
Yeah.
social media accounts.
It's exhausting.
Some people are a lot more savvy than I am, and I bow down to them, but I was never able to do that. And yeah, it's the best way to sort of like stay in contact with me, see when books get announced or things that I'm doing, events that I'm going to be at, stuff like that. Um, and then, just every time you listen to an audiobook, try to, follow that narrator. It really does help. Uh, I know we're all sort of in the fight against AI taking over
Yeah.
all art. And the more that we can show that they're is a desire to hear human voices, the better.
Desire to hear human voices and to connect with other humans, like you and
Yeah,
I
of
sitting here
course.
having a
I
conversation.
know.
So,
It's so nice. I
yeah.
hope that we do an event at your bookstore someday. That would be
Me
lovely.
too. Me too. Let's
Yeah.
dream it.